Here's a question for you. Should you allow the seller to remain in possession at the close of escrow? We're going to discuss that. I'm William Smith with the William Smith Luxury Group at Coldwell Banker Realty in Carmel, California. What happens with preparing for the move? Okay, let's say that the buyer wants to move in the day after close. Well, that means the seller's got to get ready to be out of there in time and get the place cleared out and cleaned up, and now utilities and things are going to be changed. So make sure that if you do cancel your utilities as the seller, that you tell them it's being sold and that you'd like the day after the close of escrow to be your last day of billing, and that the buyer will be calling. So the buyer's agent will help guide the buyer to do that. And that's for all your basic utilities. The important thing is that you don't just cancel and then, it closes on Friday and Saturday the buyers move in, they have no electricity or water. You need to make sure that you coordinate the effort, and the two agents will usually help do that. So what we're looking for is to make sure that the transition of possession is easy. So when the seller yields possession to the buyer, that's what that term is referring to. So let's say that the buyer has negotiated with the seller that the possession is going to be 3 days after close of escrow. So you can close on Friday and let the buyer move out over the weekend, and then the seller move out over the weekend, and then the buyer takes possession on Monday. That's a comfortable way to do it. Usually there'd be no charge for that. But let's say that the seller needs 2 weeks. Well, a traditional way to handle that is that the expenses that buyer has, their principal payment, their interest payment, their taxes, and their insurance payment on a per diem basis, the per day basis, that is a fair number. So in the $1 million to $1.5 million range, that could be $200, $250 per day that the seller would agree to pay. Usually they leave it in escrow with a security deposit, and then they can stay for a couple of weeks. And that's a comfortable way to do it if the seller needs that extra time. After they have their money in the bank, maybe they need it for a deposit or a down payment or something for their next property they're going to move to, but they don't have it until they close the escrow. That would be a excellent way to do it. There is a time limit for possessions based upon what the status is that the seller has as a license for the seller to remain in possession, and then at some point the seller becomes the tenant with tenant's rights. What's that time frame? 29 days. So the first 29 days, there's a document that is seller licensed to remain in possession, and after the 30 days, then the seller to remain in possession as a tenant. So now the tenant, whether it be 3 months or 6 months or a year, they have tenant's rights, and now the buyer becomes a landlord. So not all buyers want to do that, and there is some limitations for different types of loans. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, FHA, they have time limits of how long a seller can stay there, because they don't want to give owner-occupied loan rate for a rental, and that's why you need to check with your lender to how long that time could be. But 29 days is usually okay with everybody, so you need to verify that if you're going to let the seller stay. I'm William Smith with the William Smith Luxury Group. Please, in your comments, ask more questions. I can update our video content. If I've missed some, I can give you specific information. And besides that, I love hearing from you. So subscribe to our channel, look for the next video, and I look forward to serving you. If you have questions on any of this as a seller, we'll be happy to do that. And watch for our video on what a buyer should do in order to go through the same process. William Smith signing out. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching our YouTube channel.